Welcome back to Meow, the only place in the world where you can hear me talk. Well, we are in the year 2024, in the year of our Lord, and you know what question has been bugging me all last year that I feel like I have the answer to now? What is the best streaming service? Yeah, you're darn tootin'. I'm gonna try to figure out, well, that answer. But I have some caveats first. Firstly, I don't actually have access to every single streaming service in the world, certainly not every single paid one. So while I guess I would say there's like 9 main paid streaming services, I'm just going to be looking at 7. I'm going to be looking at Disney Plus, Netflix, Max, Hulu, Peacock, Amazon Prime, and Paramount Plus, and the 2 that I'm excluding are Apple TV and then YouTube TV. And ESPN, but I don't. And so the way I'm going to be judging these streaming services is based on 3 criteria. The first one being content amount, the second one being UI, and the third one being content quality. And one last caveat before we get started, I am only going to be looking at these as they appear on my TV. I have a Roku device, so that's what I'm using to look at everything. It's actually Roku built into the TV, and the TV is up to date all the way, so I am getting the best experience that you can get as of now. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing I want to look at is content amount. All right, this is the amount of content, whether it's shows or movies, that you are able to get once you sign in and get the base price. And I'm just going to be going down the list kind of talking about them. So I will say, with basically every streaming service, you are getting a lot of content, all right? Like, you are getting a lot of content. I have had Netflix for years now, and I don't think I've watched everything that even Netflix has put out, let alone all the stuff that they bring in from, other distribution places, other companies. Like, Netflix is the distributor. Anyways, so Disney Plus, Netflix, Max, and Amazon Prime, those 4 in particular have a lot of content because they are like some of the biggest platforms just in terms of content amount. And on the base price, you have access to all of their content. Some of them on the base price may just include having ads as well. Now notice the ones I didn't put on that list were Hulu, Peacock, and Paramount Plus. Why is that? Well, for Paramount Plus, the library is incredibly small. I don't know the exact amount of things that they have on their platform, but compared to any of those other ones that I listed on the first segment that had a lot, they do not have anything. Compared to Hulu, they barely have anything. Speaking of Hulu, Hulu has multiple tiers of kind of payment levels that you can pay, and you get more and more content with each one. On the base Hulu level, you don't really get access to that much content. More specifically, my gripe with it is that you're actually missing a lot of content that's on their platform that you just, if only you would pay for the ad-free version, then you'd be able to get more of that content. Or the live TV option, then you'd be able to get more of that content. Here's the thing, Hulu, on one episode of a 30-minute TV show, you will have 4 separate ad breaks. Give me all of your content. I am paying for it, and you are getting money through advertisements. Why is there another tier? I understand the live aspect because I'm pretty sure that would take more internet broadband or whatever to do all the live stuff. I get that. But the fact that I can't watch some random movie that's on your platform, even though it's on there because I haven't paid the high enough price, even though I'm still going to have to watch like 18 ads on the damn movie, it makes no sense whatsoever. That is a huge rant I've been wanting to just get off my chest for a while now. And Peacock is kind of the same as Paramount Plus. It doesn't have all that much on there, so not too much to say about that. So the UI, also known as user interface. What do I mean when I say that? Well, basically, how is it when you're scrolling down and scrolling left and right on the platform and hitting play and all that things? How does it look? How does it operate? Every streaming service kind of has its quirks when it comes to this, and so I think the best thing to do is to look at the ones with bad UI and then just say everyone else is okay. Because I have my problems with them, but at the end of the day, they're at least not as bad as the ones that I'm going to put in the bad category. So let's start there first. All right, starting with the big boy, Netflix. All right, I genuinely hate Netflix's UI. I hate it with a passion. On my TV and on other TVs that I've used, although I will say on the browser version it's different, but we're not judging it by that criteria. On the TVs, Netflix is always laggy. It's always laggy, and I think the reason is because it's trying to do so much at once. And if it worked, I still wouldn't like it, because the worst part about the Netflix user interface is that when you hover over a movie, it starts playing the trailer. Okay, that's fine, but you can't read the entire description. So what happens? You click on it and you say, oh, I want to read the description, but there's no box to go up on the description. So you just leave your cursor on the play button. It doesn't matter if you read it on the play button, actually, because you can leave it on the more like this button, or the rate it button, or the put on your saved list button. Doesn't matter what you leave it on. The movie will start playing while you are reading the fucking description. This is the worst thing to ever happen, ever. It sucks. I hate it. And like I said, it lags a lot and it crashes a lot on my TV, which I've never seen that happen on anybody else's TV. It could be that I'm just watching it a lot. But for that reason, I have to rate Netflix as bad in the UI department. The other two that have bad UI are Peacock and Paramount Plus. Now, Paramount Plus has the same issue as Netflix in terms of its lagging, but it makes up for it by not giving anything interesting at all whatsoever. So while Netflix, I can understand why it's lagging. It's trying to do a lot just in terms of what all is being processed and computed. That you don't have that problem on Paramount Plus, and it still lags. It's bad. And also, the continued watching never goes away. I watched Transformers 3 like 5 months ago, and no matter how many times I just skip through the credits and play the last 10 seconds just to let it play out and get off my continued watching stuff, it just stays there. I don't understand. It's not just that movie either. It's the only other one I've watched on that platform. I don't like... I don't understand why it operates so poorly like that. And so obviously, like I said, it lags really bad and the continued watching stuff never goes away. So bad. So that leaves Peacock, and it's actually not Peacock. I got it confused earlier. It's actually Prime. While yes, Peacock does lag a little bit, I have to give it the one up on Prime, because even though Peacock sections off a lot of the content that you're able to get, like I forgot to mention this in the content amount, but you have access to almost nothing on Peacock through the free service, even though it still has ads. You get like 10% maybe of all of their content. That's a whole nother thing. But on Prime, you can't easily see what is a Prime supported movie or TV show and what is not. Now, it does tell you, there is text on it, but there's no visual indication other than that text, so you can't just one glance and tell which row you're supposed to look at. And the text is really small, too. It's really hard to read. I have a 55-inch screen TV, and I'm watching what's right there. I don't know. That's probably like 6-7 feet back from the TV, and it's still hard for me to read if it's a Prime supported or not. Peacock actually has a little thing that they actually got from Prime. Prime used to have this little banner on the bottom right corner that said Prime, and it was a visually distinct thing, and you can go, that's a Prime movie right there. That's a Prime TV show. I know I have access to it. I'm sure that they took that off so you would look more closely at all the other movies, but I don't like that. Peacock did kind of the same thing. On the top left corner, there's a little feather thing, and it's got a yellow border around it. Aha, I know what I have access to, and I know what I don't have access to. If it's got the little yellow thing on it, if you're not paying for Peacock, too bad you don't have access to it. And so for that reason, I have to say that Prime, not Peacock, actually has a worse UI than, well, Peacock. That didn't grammatically work, but it's fine. And lastly, we have come to content quality. This may be the single most important thing in your decision on whether to not pay for a streaming service. And fair enough. The problem with the content quality, and this is the problem with streaming services writ large, is that almost all of these have to push out so much content that their quality suffers. No greater example of this is Disney Plus. Disney Plus has lots of really, really bad content that they make now, from their almost Disney Channel-esque shows like High School the musical or whatever the hell it's called, to all of the Star Wars shows, barring Andor, to all of the all the Marvel shows, maybe barring Loki, to the really bad like TV shows like the Santa Claus. Like, God, we didn't need anything after the first movie, let alone this stupid show. All around, look, Disney has a great content library of all of its old stuff and some of the new stuff. But overall, the quality of the content made is it's not even close to 50-50. It's like 70-30 if it's going to be bad. And so for that, I can't say that it has quality content on it, because again, you could buy the movies or the TV shows that you want and you don't have to keep paying a monthly or yearly fee for all that. And they're cranking up their fees as well. So I can't really, in good conscience, say, yeah, but hey, their old content's really good, so you should keep paying monthly fees to look at their old stuff. As far as Netflix goes, Netflix is kind of in the same position as Disney Plus in that I think the amount of content that they have to make means that a lot of it's going to be bad. However, I will say, when it comes to Netflix stuff, it's probably closer to 60-40 whether it's going to be good or bad. There's the Fear Street Halloween movies that were made a couple years ago that I think 2 of them were actually pretty good. I can't remember now. I remember one of them I didn't really care for. It might have been the one set in the Pilgrim time. Anyways, to things like the first couple seasons of Stranger Things, to many more things that I can't think of off the top of my head that Netflix has actually made that is pretty good quality. I'm going to mix those words up the rest of the video. So overall, I do think it is worth it on the quality alone to get Netflix. And not to mention all the stuff that they bring in from outside people. Yeah, you got some pretty good hits on there. Max is pretty good. While they don't have too many original shows that I care about, they do have some good quality ones on there, like House of Dragons. That's a pretty good show that's made for them. But Max also has all the DC, everything that you want, Batman, Superman, animated, live action, it's all there. It also has, if not all, it has the majority of the Cartoon Network series as well. Has Turner Classic Movies on it, which I know there's like a whole thing where they are taking stuff off of their platform now, and Disney's doing that too, and I'm not a big fan of that. But especially because on the Turner Classic stuff, you can't really find that anywhere else. So that's like the one place you can go to watch movies made way back when. And now through their recent merger, I'm not going to speak on that, but I will say that they do have a lot of the Discovery things on there, and it has Mythbusters, and that alone is worth a monthly subscription. So Hulu and Paramount Plus, kind of the same problem in that I have not seen hardly anything that they have made because nothing that they have made have been that good. Hulu has like The Handmaid's Tale and Only Murders in the Building, or Murderers in the Building. Those are the only 2 that I've seen. And they're okay. I've not really seen anything else they put out. Nothing has really caught my attention. I've not heard too many good reviews on a lot of things that they've made. Same thing with Paramount Plus. I don't even know what they make on Paramount Plus. The iCarly reboot? Like, come on. And that mixed with the fact that they have limited options in terms of really what they have on their platforms already, it just makes the quality really lacking. Now, when it comes to Amazon Prime has some pretty good stuff on there I'm not caught up on Invincible season 2 yet, but I will say Invincible, The Boys, they're really good about doing dark superhero things, to having just a really wide variety that actually on there, including a lot of older movies from like the 70s and 80s, as well as newer things that have just recently come out that are either free with ads or that are just on Prime themselves. I will say the quality of content on Amazon Prime.
There's a tempest in me.
I completely forgot about Rings of Power. Maybe not Rings of Power, but yeah, everything else it's pretty good on there. You won't be too disappointed unless you're a Lord of the Rings fan. And the last one, of course, Peacock. What do I have to say about the quality of Peacock? It has The Office and Parks and Rec, and other than that, not really much else on there. Anything else that's on there you could find somewhere else, and if you can't find it, it's behind a paywall anyways. So if you had access to it, I'm sure it would be fine. But either way, the they don't really make anything on there. It's basically just a lineup of stuff made by CBS. And it's like, well, that's not really like the most coveted network. You know, it has a few good shows like 30 Rock, like I said, The Office, Parks and Rec. Yeah, it's really lacking in terms of just good content. So that one is a... So let's recap. In terms of content amount, we have Disney Plus, Netflix, Max, and Amazon Prime as the top contenders in that category. In terms of the user interface, we have Disney Plus, Max, Hulu, and Peacock in that category. And in terms of content quality, we have Netflix, Max, and Prime, all rounding out the last little spot there for being good. So for those of you keeping track at home, in terms of these three categories, we have rounding out the 0 category with Paramount Plus. That's right, it didn't get any points whatsoever. Don't get it. Rounding out the 1 point category, we have Hulu and Peacock. Basically, what I think that means is if you have the extra money, sure, get it, but you're not really missing out if you don't. Rounding out the 2 point category, this is the category that says, hey, yeah, you can probably get this and you'll be pretty satisfied. That is Disney Plus, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. And finally, we have the only perfect scoring streaming service, and that is Max. Surprisingly, just in terms of its UI, in terms of the amount of content, in terms of the quality of that content, I think Max reigns over every other streaming service. So if you only had to pick one, I would go with Max. So hey, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, hopefully you found it entertaining or maybe even helpful. That'd be nice. I know most people already have a bunch of streaming services anyways, and so you may just be watching this video just because you're trying to pass some time or something. This isn't trying to help you. This isn't going to help you make a decision or anything, but you know what? I don't care. But I hope everybody has a good start to their 2024. Let's make it a good year this time. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's not make it like last year. All right. New year, new me. All right. And with that, I've been Kyle, and I still am. And can get the hell out of my house.